Good morning, guys. It's Chris from DaxTrader.co.uk. It's Monday, the 17th of July, 2017, and we're going to do a quick wrap-up, or roundup, should I say, for the DAX for this morning. Okay, so we've just completed the webinar. I'm going to do a summary of what we ran through today. So as far as strategy is concerned, I've just taken a look at where we are on the S&P 500 to get a steer for what's potential for this week might be. S&P 500 has broken to fresh highs, and we on the DAX are lagging way behind that. So my kind of thinking was, the recent lows we saw on the 6th, I think it was, of July, is that actually the start of a technical downtrend, or is that just a dip where we're going to be looking to build from that? So my thinking at the moment is, just based on what the S&P 500 is, we're looking for reasons to get into longs, to assume that the lows on the 6th would be a dip and a lower high, higher low, go the right way around. So I'm looking for opportunities. So whereabouts can we get some value for this week to get into some longs? All right, well, first things first is just take a look at the volume profile that we've got here. So for last week on Friday and Thursday, we've been compressed within a narrow range of around about 50 to 60 points. Value area low from Friday was 604, and the value area high from Thursday was 642. So really it's about 40-point range that we were trapped in as far as where value is concerned for the last 2 days. We've broken above it this morning and below it this morning, so we're kind of in that we're looking to test now, perhaps to go and move to a new area. Price is happy to do business outside of these areas, and now it just needs to decide where it wants to trade. So I'm kind of looking for reasons to build a strategy to go long, looking for entries that would fit my trading plan. We've got a little mini volume pocket that's right above us, and on futures this is, not FXCM prices, between 600 and 610. There's a 10-point vacuum there, but if price does break through that, you'd imagine it's going to get through it pretty quickly up towards VWAP, which is currently developing around about 620. At the deviation low at the moment, had a mini bounce, and that's where the current value area low is developed. So a break below that could be interesting to find a better spot to go long from lower levels. But if that does hold, then it could be looking to build, to go back to test the value area high, which at the moment is around about 635. So as far as entries are concerned for this week, now if we look at the daily chart, I'll just show you what I meant on the S&P 500. So we've broken to fresh highs here after sort of 4 or 5 pretty bullish days. We had this kind of candle here with a long tail that sort of suggested some bullish activity, and it was followed through with 3 consecutive strong bullish days. Whereas on the DAX, it's not really been the same sort of story. We've had this long tail here. We're currently getting off to a pretty bearish start today. So you might think, well, is this just calling up for a slingshot move? And are we looking to turn around and sort of break these highs? Well, only a break above 683 on the FXCM price would be able to confirm that, really. But so long as we stay above 303, then this at the moment seems to be the dip. So as far as entries are concerned, I mean, on this chart, it's probably not the best place to pick an entry because you're looking at hundreds of points to risk. If you get in at 12.5, you have to risk 220 odd points. To gain, you'd probably be looking for 700 points, and you're going to be looking at 13.3 for a target, and that's just ridiculous. I don't think many traders are going to be looking for that sort of move. But to keep that as a bias in mind, you can then zone down to the lower target, lower time frames to find entries. Now on the hourly chart, if we pull a line through, let's go with these lines here. So you got 3 peaks on the hourly chart just there. Okay, and if you draw a line straight through those, it roughly cuts this move higher around about the halfway point. And you'll see the price came back to touch that line and is now testing that level again. So if that holds, that itself could be an interesting opportunity for an entry. You maybe put your stop below the previous swing, the previous low, should I say, or even this center line here. So you'll be looking to risk about 15, 20 points for the first one, or maybe closer to 40 points for a more conservative stop, assuming that, of course, from here it will turn around and move. So if you got in here with a stop below there, you're risking 30 points to take out these highs. You can probably get yourself 4 to 1 as a potential opportunity if that does hold. If it doesn't and it breaks through this, then you could be looking down here for an area to get in, and there's this cluster, if you like. I've drawn a circle, but this sort of area, if you can get in from there, it would be quite good. 12,525, 12,500, something like that. Could be interesting to have an attempt to there. As far as targets are concerned, I marked out a zone on Friday, I think it was, with this circle here, which is just a confluence of areas, really. I think there was a fork that we pulled. There's a couple of parallels that were confirming areas that could be a battle zone. You had this kind of pocket area here that's been reacted to a few times in the past. So it just kind of made sense. And it's roughly, if you consider this little zone here, I'll just draw another circle around it. This little zone here. If you consider that to be a value area, you might suggest that that's the kind of a balance point of this swing higher. So, if you've got this move down here, that's the low there, put your 50% line through that value area. You could even argue, depending on how conservative you want to be, that an extension of that move could be as high as 12.9. So there's opportunities, I think, to go long, just considering that. If we do follow this, close that gap between DAX and the S&P 500, which is forming a large part of my strategy at the moment, then they're some of the targets I'll be looking to go after. So current level is an interesting opportunity, but your stop loss would have to be this current low here. If it breaks that, 525 is an interesting level, where somewhere between 500 and 525 on FXCM's price is another interesting opportunity. If neither of those work today, then, well, today's just not the day it's going to happen. Wait for another spot. Assuming all of this kind of assumes that these lows are going to hold. Can we turn bearish, and can it be a technical reversal? Yeah, of course it can. It's just only really going to be confirmed, in my opinion, once we break those lows and don't break these highs. Okay. 5-minute chart, last one just to look at. I talk quite regularly about a strategy that I used to play around with, which is a Bollinger Band strategy using deviation. Not deviation, divergence even. So when you get divergence using an oscillator, whichever oscillator you want to use, above a Bollinger Band, there's a higher probability that you'll get a touch of the median line of the band. And so example is here. We were above the Bollinger Band. We had this bearish divergence appearing on the oscillators, and broke back inside the band, came down to touch the median line. Now, it's not guaranteed setup. It's just a higher probability setup than guessing. And in my experience, it has proved, when you take context into consideration, to be quite a good trade to look for. So you kind of have two targets. You target the midway point. No, that's not the terminology. You target the one standard deviation as your first target, and then the median line as your second. Break back inside the band would be your entry if you were conservative. If you're a bit more aggressive, you could take a trade straight on the divergence if you're above the bands. 2 points for the divergence you need, well, certainly for this case, you need 2 peaks, and both the peaks would have to be outside of the band. It's kind of mechanical in its process, but and strategies, mechanical strategies are very subjective, I think, because they don't take context into consideration. That's why I have an EA that codes this, and it works okay. But no mechanical EA system is guaranteed to work all the time because it doesn't take context into consideration. So I get alerted to these, and then you can use your own mind to decide whether or not it's the right conditions to take it trade. And that's how you obviously get better results. So it tagged the median line here, which is quite interesting. So, if it does react here and start to move higher, that will be another potential spot to buy if you have a bullish bias. Okay, so the only other thing I went through in the webinar, which I'm really pleased with, is this oil trade. So I'm currently in oil. I've been in oil for a while. In fact, I think over 2 or 3 trades now. This is the most recent. About 100 and something points, 120 points, I think, up now at the moment. which is good. Holding out for much higher levels. Would I buy from here? No. Would I buy from a dip? Possibly, yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. There's plenty of opportunities out there for this week on the currencies, commodities, and oil. So they are our gold trades. And we'll be looking for some really good stuff for DAX and the FTSE for today as well. And of course, we've got the journal that's going to be hopefully completed today, which will be here. And so it's just going to be whenever I've got an idea or something I write in my journal, I'll just copy it here. It'll be uploaded to the website. You'll be able to access it straight away. Once a new message gets sent to the journal, you get an alert. The page will refresh and it will appear there. It can use attachments and pictures and links and videos and text and all that stuff. So you should be able to make use of that, hopefully. And you can filter it during the day as well. So you can choose what it is you want to actually see, what day you want to look at it. So that's there. Just got to iron out a couple of bugs for access for the gold guys and for the premium guys. So we'll get that sorted. If you have any problems accessing that, please just send me a message and I'll get it fixed for you. So that's it. We'll wrap up there for today. I hope you make a good trading day and make plenty of points. And we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Take care, guys.